Oh, booyah, we're back.
My hair is shorter now.
Oh, it is, yeah. You and I, honestly, God, we have not been in terrific contact, and I attribute at least my side of it to all the dad stuff that I had to keep doing now. And by dad stuff, I mean like housework, kind of like the nesting stuff, but also like we had a dresser I want to say like almost a month ago, maybe more. And then it sat in our garage for the longest time, which I've now paid for a garage. It's essentially just a storage unit. So it's a very expensive storage unit. But I sanded it, and then Jess and we did a darker color coat, like a darker stain.
Yeah.
And then I had to put a polyurethane on it and do all that stuff. So it's still drying, I think, tonight.
Make it all shiny.
Well, yeah, but because it's all human and stuff, it takes longer to dry out here. Where if I did all that in Colorado, it would have dried probably like overnight or over one day.
Yeah, because it's dry heat.
Well, yeah, and here it's been. I mean, it's actually gotten colder. Like each morning, it's like moist. 60. No, like the temperature started to drop. So it's not.
Yeah, but then you get fog in the nighttime, though.
No, not really. I mean,
really?
it gets down to like 60 now. So it's like a little too cold for that.
Ours has gotten down to like 40, 41.
Well, yeah, that's because you're a mountain man.
Yeah, I don't want to be a mountain man. I'm too black for this shit, man.
You're a mountain man. Well, I like the haircut. That's good looking do. What's this mustache goatee thing you have going on? You just can't connect the dots?
Dude, I don't know. What? You know that I'm...
That was me being...
No, I'm lying. It was pretty fucked up. That is fucked up, Steve.
By the way, where are you? Are you in your fucking bedroom?
No, I'm at John's house. We got
John who?
Yeah.
Where the fuck is he?
Oh, you want to just bring him up? I mean, he's really high too, and there's one computer.
Oh, fuck yeah! That's if we have the
that's him right there. It's
I'm right here, bitches.
Oh my god,
we're really high.
This is gonna become a fucking trio.
It's amazing. It can't become a throuple because we can't get him on another computer because I'm using his computer.
Well, just can you back up or like back the computer up to put both of you in the shot, or do you guys have like a bouncy ball for him to sit on or something?
Yeah, he can use his phone. I yelled at him.
Oh.
He can use his phone, so I'm gonna send him an invite.
Yeah, there we go. And that way we can go over the Twitter trending. And we can do it. You're both super high. Oh my god! By the way, have you seen Jared's gym, or did you help him do that?
Yeah, well, not helped him. I was supposed to help him, but I helped him pick out the shit to do it and all the.
Well, I remember that because I was there for that part. But
yeah, you there for that part.
We're talking about Jared Edgerton's his home gym. He didn't want it to look so like pasty white on the walls and clear cement on the.
He didn't want to make it look like Steve's skin, basically. That's what he meant. I went
just walked by with I don't want to give it away necessarily, but it's a piece of women's clothing for postpartum that she said we are now brought to our listeners by them. We should be sponsored by postpartum clothing.
Oh, Jesus.
That's so
we haven't happened to her because you decided to have a good time with her. That's
Hey, at the basis of all human life, men and women both understand that women hold the sole priority over all three aspects of having a child, right? The conception portion and the procreation.
Yeah.
Carrying the child and giving birth to the child. Yes. And they even if you want to, instead of make it a trio, you want to make it like the quarters, like the 4 different things that all women do, because then the postpartum, like the breastfeeding and all that stuff. But some women don't breastfeed, so I don't want to give them all the credit in the world.
I mean, yeah, I think that people should honestly. I have this
men don't do any of that shit.
I have this irrational fear. Like, this is kind of on topic, but kind of off topic. That like
your sperm doesn't work.
Idiocracy is going to come true.
What is that about?
You've never seen Idiocracy?
No. I watch normal people movies.
Okay, so let's think about this. think about all the smart people in the world, right? They tend to wait to have children. You know, they wait until the time's right. They've gotten all this amassed wealth, et cetera, et cetera. And then you got the
I
dumb
don't think
people
that makes
that live in
people
trailer
smart or
parks
dumb, but okay.
that don't give a fuck, and they just keep fucking each other and being stupid. Well, essentially, because the smart rich people didn't have any more kids and have kids fast enough, all the dumb people took over. And then there's this whole thing with water.
I kind of see that, but there are plenty of people who then you have like, I mean, there's not a lot of these, but like the Elon Musk of the world who are like, oh, I want to have 10 children, and that's just not enough. And then there's the Nick Cannons who's like, I won't ever stop. I'm just going to keep cranking out babies.
What is he on his 9th kid?
I don't understand. He's paying child support to all those women.
Dude, how many baby mamas does Nick
Either
get?
that or when they have sex with him, they decline the ability to accept child support. Because then there's dudes like Antonio Cromartie who used to play in the NFL. He had 11 babies with 10 different women.
This is a top asked question.
Oh, is it? How many babies does Nick Cannon have?
Yeah.
Well, he just lost one. R.I.P. Sad news.
Oh, one of them died?
Yeah, it was like one of his sons was like I want to say he was barely an infant. He was like born, and I think it was like 2 or 3 months. Do you know about that, Jess? Nick Cannon's baby boy that died? Like how old it was? He just had health issues, she said.
Let me get John in here and then.
R.I.P. He goes to the Kobe Basketball Academy in heaven.
I'm not even going to share that. That's sad. Sorry, it's all sad. Here we go. There's John.
Oh, wow. How far away are you from him, John?
All right, give me a second. I'm wrapping up my my main hustle right now. I can't tell you what's going on down here, but it's delicious.
Oh my Jesus Christ! What horseshit have you and Ken gotten into?
Oh man, like Ken's just I don't know what he's doing. He's just going back and forth in like room. Oh, he closed the door.
Close the door.
So when you say main hustle and you don't want to show me what's really going on, are you and Ken in like the dildo making business and you guys just made like
flavored
Am I doing a what?
He said flavored dildos.
No, I didn't say flavored dildos, you asshole. I said,
you did.
Are you and Ken in the business of making dildos out of the molds of your own dicks? That because that's the only thing I could imagine you and Ken getting into.
Oddly
really specific
question.
Request.
So all right. So here, let me just because like
show me them. I don't want to see how small or big. Sit down.
Some weird
Ken.
stuff right now. So like, this is my main hustle.
Oh, he's thinking.
Oh, is that cookies?
Yeah,
those are pastries.
Ooh,
not cookies.
So Ken's gonna get fat when he hangs out with you. He's gonna eat all those pastries and then not work out.
No, man. Ken can't afford to eat my shit all the time, man.
I can't. It's
I'm
expensive.
expensive.
Yeah, he's an expensive hoe, and I love him. Love you too, Steve.
Yeah, see, this is why I thought
everything I make is sometimes snacks, not all the time snacks.
Sometimes snacks, he says. Oh, interesting.
Start asking us the trending things.
So, welcome to the show, by the way, John. Not to
again.
So Ken didn't just probably interrupt your day.
So give me like
we're getting super high.
Give me like 30 more seconds to just finish this up.
Yeah, Ken, wait your turn. You interrupted him by going into his domain, and then
right.
he's making.
I'm really close.
Making living pastries. Okay.
They're delicious.
I bet they are. What's your best one?
My best seller is my macarons.
Yeah.
Those are like the most frequently requested. My favorite to make. I have a really good friend of mine. Her name's Kat, and for her anniversary every year, she gets her husband a cat, a recreation of their wedding cake, and then he gets her a recreation of their bouquet. So this year she was like, hey, can you make it? And it was basically, she just said raspberry and cheesecake are like the left and right limits and go nuts. So like I went nuts.
Jesus.
And that was super fun.
And that's their anniversary gift to each other?
Yeah, that's what they do, man.
So they don't follow the whatchamacallit. I know like year one is like paper year or something. 10 years like
gold. Oh, like the traditional anniversary bullshits?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I've only had one anniversary, so I haven't been able to fuck that up yet, but I'm sure at some point I'll be like, this is
Oh,
John.
I'm pretty sure
You
there
will.
are people that have fucked up a first anniversary before.
Yeah.
Hey Jess, what is our next anniversary? Like the purpose behind it? Like, remember the first one's paper, another one's like something gold. Do you know what year 2 is? No, she said she'll look it up. She's not. She's not
Okay.
ready for the questioning.
You have my full and undivided attention. Everything I need to do that is time sensitive is complete.
Oh, sweet. Well, okay. I got about 45-ish minutes, and then I gotta go.
Oh yeah.
So we were gonna go over because Ken said you guys are both super high. So I thought I'd start asking you guys about trending.
Ken is.
Ken, you lied.
John is high.
You said fiber.
What?
Year 2 is something fiber.
We need fiber.
Clothing or
Oh, the answer to the question.
yeah. So year 2 anniversary gift is something fiber. So it can have fiber in it. It can be something clothing. It can be, so she's probably getting like a sweater.
So, like, hear me out. If I have the option of being like, all right, well, here's some fiber or a meaningful anniversary
Here's a
present,
granola bar.
which one am I going to roll with?
It's
Know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah. It's like
But hey, I really wanted to get you that freaking blah 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 that you've been going on about how awesome it would be to have one. But
what's the fiber anniversary?
tradition dictates I need to get you this hemp rope.
You need to have something that helps you with your diet. So here's some fiber.
Yeah, like here's
Have
some
fun
mushroom
pooping.
cellulose.
She said
yeah, or
that.
just carbon fiber. For
What
a
did you
car.
say? Year 3 was just something. Oh, Jess said year 3 is something leather.
Oh, that can
So I
get
mean,
you real
you
fast.
exactly right.
Yeah.
Some 50 Shades of Grey, real quick.
No, it's 50 Shades of Black, dog.
There are some of us that are
Leather's
on the other
black.
end of the
Leather's not
spectrum.
really gray.
Find me a fucking brown leather jacket. Super simple.
Yeah, or hear me out. You could get each other meaningful gifts,
That's fair.
That's true.
or
I
you
mean,
could find a
my-
way to get like a leather or something meaningful.
All right, so I gave my wife a
Wow.
child this year, so I feel like that's my anniversary gift in advance. She wanted to be a mom. So
Let me know how that works out for you in the long run.
She's still here. She's eating the dinner that I cooked. So
Oh, you made dinner?
I'm
today?
not. Yeah, I make dinner. Jeff, would you say like 8 times out of 10 I make dinner, or 9 times out of 10? It's an 8. 7.5. She gives me. I'd make dinner all the time. Ken, how many times do you make dinner?
every day. 'Cause I love it.
So Tam doesn't make dinner?
I mean, she asks sometimes, but then I'm like, I'll just do it because I just like to cook. I love figuring out how shit tastes with new things in it, and and she loves everything I cook. We eat.
Wait till after this podcast. I got something new.
You got something? Oh Jesus! It's like, I'm having a
And this is-
mouthgasm for all you
And
listeners.
this is why I thought that Ken would be making dodos.
That's not.
All right, let's get into this.
Fuck
So
you, Ducky.
we're gonna have a podcast with a special guest.
What is the agenda? What are we talking about this
So
time?
not that John is not a special guest. Don't let that fool anybody.
I mean, I think I'm pretty special. My mom agrees.
I mean, just what's your definition of special? Define special for me. I'm just kidding.
I mean, I think I'm pretty unique.
You are a very unique person, John.
Yeah.
You
I'm-
have a full man bun. So especially in
Well,
the realm
actually,
of gentlemen.
it's just a top man bun. It's not a full,
Okay.
Mm.
So in the category of
but
gentlemen.
it's going away soon too.
Oh no! Really? Why?
Because I got bored.
No. Well, fair. Ken changes
No,
his hairstyle.
I'm
every
going
month.
back to my 1940s Dick Winters comb over.
Fair.
Comb over?
Yeah.
Not like a fucking Cheeto man comb over, like a fucking side part comb over.
You mean like mine? Hard part and then.
Yeah, but like with style.
I mean,
Love you, Steve.
I do as much as I can with what I have.
Hey,
And
man,
if this
and that's
grows
all
out
we
any
can ask,
further,
right?
it's going to turn into a Jufro. So I try to keep it short enough, right?
Dude, my hair, like, if left to its own devices, my hair is very wiry. Like, I can full on like Medusa, like flare this stuff out, man.
My,
and it is long.
my hair has been my crutch for a majority of my life. If it's not my smile, then it's definitely my hair. That's a crutch. But all right, we're gonna get in.
The fried chicken is gonna be here in 1 minute, John.
What did you guys do? The fried chicken.
We ordered food.
I ordered like $70 worth of fried chicken. We're gonna
Jesus, man.
Dude, giving Ken money
Yeah,
was the worst thing that any company ever did.
Hey, man.
Immediately
Dude,
go to
have you ever there's a show on HBO called Last Week Tonight with frickin' John Oliver. And the stuff this man does with HBO's budget is just fucking hilarious.
Oh, I think I know the one you're talking
like
about.
what are you,
Dude, like he got into like basically a grudge match with the president of Trivago
Oh my god.
over I don't know, something. And
He's
just
like he's like a troll that HBO just gave millions of dollars to.
he
And you're just, like,
definitely
making entertainment.
it's like satire. I wouldn't say
Mhm.
trolling. Trolling is kind of like really reductive
Oh
to
yeah.
describe
but-
what he does. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
all of his shit is fucking smart and like based in
It's
at least
smart,
an
witty
argument. I don't
humor.
agree with everything he does, but there's at least an argument for everything.
Yes. But HBO just was kind of like gave, I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
they gave him a budget and just
smart
said,
teenager, and we're
do
just
dumb
like, hey,
shit.
make this funny.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, okay. So it's like dry, witty humor with like satire to it. But
Dude, it is fucking hilarious.
if you sat down and watched it high, you might. I mean, you're a smart guy. You'll pick up on like what's going on, but you might not get off the couch because you'd be laughing.
I don't know what you're
It's really funny.
Okay.
yesterday tonight.
No. He'll tell you after this episode when you guys are
What do you I was
knees
like, what
deep
do
in your fucking fried food.
Who knows?
Okay.
The guy just showed up at the door though.
So, Ken, what do you think the number one trending thing on Twitter is?
the hurricane?
Ooh,
Oh.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bet it's some Kardashian did or said something.
No. He was actually correct.
Oh, word?
Yeah, and actually one of the things underneath it was the Don Lemon TV show or whatever, his segment on CNN, and they asked him he asked the climate specialist whether or not climate change was responsible for the hurricane getting so intense, like so quickly.
Mhm.
And the guy was like, no. You can't necessarily blame any one incident of like the climate or Mother
Yeah.
Nature
It's just
on
repeated
climate
occurrences
change.
of it. Yeah.
And this is like a guy with the biggest degree who just knows the most about hurricanes, right?
Nick.
Yeah, it's probably a big degree. But he goes like, hey, no, you can't measure that based on like one thing, like just climate change. And so the article underneath is Don Lemon replying to him, oh, well, I lived there and I grew up there, so it's got to be something, and I think it's this. And so him and this
Back and
climate
forth.
the climate specialist, he was just kind of like butting heads to him, and he was like, well, that's not how that works, but okay.
Jesus Christ.
I mean,
They're just having like the equivalent of a fighting match. And what happened?
a little bit. It's just kind of, I thought it was funny. But Justin's sister, who lives down in Florida, do you guys know anybody who lives down in
Yeah, I
Florida?
got a couple friends down in Florida that are all bunkered in.
Yeah.
Your sister lives in Florida because she goes to school there, and like she went. Where'd she go? Like up to St. Augustine to get out of the way of it. But I think I have a step grandmother who I haven't talked to in a long time. But I know she lives in Fort Myers, and Fort Myers is under
it's getting
fucking
wrecked.
water.
Yeah, it's getting wrecked. It's like Katrina levels.
You could say I probably have an obligation to send a text message, but
Yeah, you do. You should send a text message to people.
I was
I
just
don't have
assuming
a
that the phone lines are still up, man.
well, I mean, cell towers at least, yeah.
I'm just assuming cell
Wi-Fi's
towers are still up,
definitely
man.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It was gusting up to like 80 miles an hour earlier.
They said the category 4, like inside it's not the center ring, but it's
eye?
like it's not within the eye, but it's like within the 50-mile radius of the eye, or like the out portion of it. It was up to like 150 miles an hour of wind.
Yeah, 155. Yeah.
That's fucking
And it's
nuts.
And it's spinning all that momentum and like centrifugal force that it's creating is drawing the water like from the shore down.
Yes.
It's killing a whole bunch of animals.
Tampa Bay, their actual bay,
It's not
there's a
there.
whole portion of it that is literally just there's no water.
Yeah.
It drained somewhere around like 5 to 6 feet of water. So now
Jesus.
now you can just see the bottom of the bay.
Yeah.
And everything's sitting there. So
You
there's
see
probably
the
like 1 or
sand
2
and-
feet of stagnant
Yeah.
water, but you can see everything.
That shit's crazy.
I mean, I thought when I saw the picture, I was like, oh, tsunami. Like first thing, right? As soon as all the water gets
Yeah.
pulled out.
Yep.
But then people were saying, no, it's because of the gust of wind pulling south when it rotates.
Yeah.
That it just, it pulls it back out to the ocean. Now, there's a possibility that it comes back in, and it comes back in a rough way. But I don't think Tampa Bay is not like New Orleans where it's like actually under the sea level, so it shouldn't flood.
It
the
is at
entire
least
city.
protected in the bay as opposed to like just right on the freaking beach.
Yeah, I mean, but Fort Myers is getting swamped just because
Yeah.
everybody had. I remember my grandmother's house had a canal behind it that like links all the boats to the ocean, whatnot, from all the neighborhoods. So that backyard is 99% chance.
Yeah, wrecked. That's wrecked.
Yeah. All those, dude, can you imagine how much boat insurance is probably going to go up? Every single, it's going to be like USAA when the hailstorm came through Colorado in
dude.
18.
You have to have that stuff underwritten in your insurance for like the state of Colorado explicitly out and what
Yes.
it all
That
covers.
you
Like,
have hail coverage, yeah.
That gap
and
insurance.
It's extensive. And gap insurance, well, yeah, I don't need gap. My car is paid off, but
Yeah, but everybody who doesn't have a paid off car needs gap insurance.
oh yeah, you always need
Well,
gap.
gap insurance, nah, dog. Gap insurance is actually a hustle, man.
It's
Do you think
kind
so?
of a-
Go ahead and explain that.
They can't legally offer it anymore because it comes out to be a really high interest loan, effectively.
Huh. Because gap insurance saved me on my first car.
Oh no, I'm not saying that it didn't have its uses. I'm saying in Colorado currently, as of 2021, which is the last time I bought a car, it's not a thing.
That's interesting.
Like they cannot offer it to service members because of the Soldier Sailors Relief Act. You can't get a loan above 30%. And that's effectively what that becomes.
Well, gap insurance?
Mm-hmm.
over
Even if
time.
it's, but don't you get gap insurance from the dealership, right?
It's from a third party.
Oh, so is it your insurance company? Because I thought
Mhm.
it was.
It's a third party.
Because when I bought my car through USAA,
Mm-hmm.
or not through USAA, through CarMax, and USAA was my insurance company. When they totaled out my car, I think it was at like 11,500 in damages on a like
Mhm.
$13,000 car.
Okay.
I had the car. I didn't even make my first payment on the car. That's how short of a time I had before that hailstorm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, dude, it's fucked.
That was before like the 2018 hailstorm.
No, it was the 2018 hailstorm.
Okay, got
Yeah.
it.
So at the time, I thought it was like the smart idea. Like, oh, I'll go get all this damage appraised. They'll fix it, and then I'll have a bunch of money. I'll have all this cash because they're going to pay me what the car is worth. But it was like, no,
Nope.
dumbass. They fucking assess
Nope.
the damage.
Yep.
And then
They will
tell-
pay you the lowest possible value they can justify.
Well, the other thing was like I thought, because I was very inexperienced with car buying and insurance and all that. I thought when they totaled out your car, they gave you in a check essentially the value of what the car is and or
Nope.
was. No, I learned the hard way. They're like, well, it's 11.5 in damages. Your car's worth 13. You still owe 1,500 on the loan.
So you can
Here's your
$500.
$500.
Exactly. And
Yep.
I was like, wait, what? And they're like, yeah, well, luckily Gap Insurance is going to cover that. So they'll pay the 1,500, but you make out with $0. Luckily, when I went back to CarMax for my next car, which was also a dumb move, they're like,
CarMax?
hey,
Fuck.
I was a fucking specialist going on E5 literally that month. I didn't have the fucking money. Get out of here.
Didn't you have an MCO, man?
Yeah, of course I did. Of course I did, but when I told them I was just going
Empirical
to buy,
data says you did not have an NCO. You might have had an E5.
I did
You
have
didn't have an
E5.
NCO.
For everybody that doesn't know, an NCO is a non-commissioned officer in the Army, and they,
Gee,
for the
thanks.
most part, lead and guide the troops in small teams.
Yeah, but you
Now-
can't say that E5s.
now-
A majority of them don't even know to
now-
do that.
Your NCOs
Correct.
are the equivalent of what he would do for Steve if Steve said he was going to a CarMax to get a car. He would backslap him in the back of the head with words.
Why?
Not literally,
No.
but words and
No.
advice and mentorship.
That's not true.
Why is CarMax that bad to you?
CarMax is bad because
They
their freaking
offer-
pick-on criteria is very low, and traditionally they have a very high rate of lemons,
Yes.
and the mechanical inspection that they do is not up to any actual manufacturer's standards.
So I
That's
agree
why
with
I
that.
would advise you, were you my soldier, back when I had a real job, not to go to CarMax or see if you can find a different car you like somewhere else that has at least been inspected by a certified dealer.
So I too now do not like CarMax, but back then, as a junior soldier that was like, hey, I don't want to spend more than $15K on a car. I think that that's a reputable-esque place to find a car for $15K or less.
Nah, dog.
Obviously, I learned my
I
lesson
almost
because
did
you
that.
have no haggle pricing and all that other
Correct.
shit. And if you go anywhere else, you can lease a car and lease to buy, or you can just
lease up to
Buy-
certain thousands of miles.
Dude, you know what
Exactly.
sucks for this generation of soldiers, man? They won't get to roll a shitty fucking car loan into a lease and then break it with deployment orders.
Yeah.
They won't get to do that.
Yep.
Sucks to suck, nerds.
nothing that, or most of them won't even be able to go
Dude, I
on.
tucked away so much debt every time I deployed.
Dude,
Jeez.
there's so many people that won't even get the opportunity really to deploy now, just because we're not really going to that many places.
Well,
So there's a lot of people that won't even get the financial assistance that kind of comes with deployments, where you just pocket all that extra cash.
but they also won't have the financial dying that comes with deployments, too.
Fair. Or, well, I mean,
Just
they're
saying.
also not subject to the multiple divorce cases that tend to occur. So,
Yeah, that's fair too.
right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're helping them out in one way or another. But so
I think
Needless
a
to say-
peacetime army is going to be really,
it's going to be real
weird.
fucked up. It's going to be fucked up.
They're gonna do another QMP board and get a bunch of people out, and then some things gonna
So,
break
so
out.
here's the thing, though.
Dude,
The
no, we're
people
going back to
setting
the
the
third
criteria
fucking rule.
for the QMP board are the
Would-
people that need to be QMP'd.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Or have things on their record that makes them QMP'd.
I mean, there's, sergeant majors with 4 DUIs, and the fourth one was worse than the first 3 put together. But I mean, hey, we're just going to take away your command in front of your sergeant major. You're still going to retire with the same pay.
Yeah.
Look at freaking Amadon, man.
Oh,
Why
yeah.
do you guys run for him?
No, I know of him.
Oh,
though.
isn't that the sergeant major or something from
Colonel.
the SF?
Colonel.
Oh, colonel from the SF groups or some shit.
No, it was the
Oh.
colonel from 212 that was the
212
CO.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Got
didn't know about that.
fucking because he was
Oh.
a raging alcoholic.
Yeah.
Wow.
He missed movement at NTC because he got obliterated the night before movement from NTC back and missed the bus.
Yep.
Nobody noticed it for a hot minute. Then it went, "Where's Colonel Amadon?" And he's
Dude,
missing
this
for
guy
24
though,
hours.
so
you
here's the
mean to
thing.
tell me that a full bird colonel, nobody?
No, he was a light
noticed
colonel.
what
He was a
you're
light colonel.
He was a lieutenant
Oh.
colonel. Lieutenant colonel. Battalion
saying?
colonel.
Nobody, no
Yeah.
battalion level staff was like, should
Nope.
we make a
They
phone call
did.
After,
to drive to his house?
after 6 hours.
I mean, when they were in fucking Texas.
Dude, if you work for a fucking intolerable alcoholic and he's not around, are you gonna say
Fair.
anything?
That's the
Fair.
perfect way to get him the
People will
fuck
be like,
out of
"Where's
there.
Colonel Amadon?" I'm like, I don't know. Hopefully, dead in his own closet.
That's it.
He was a horrible human being. He treated the
Dude, this guy would hop on the brigade net and have full on temper tantrums at people
yeah.
to the point where there was one time theoretically said for only entertainment reasons, he might have been yelling at someone through a terminal that was sitting right next to me by virtue of the job I used to have in that brigade. And I may or may not have, while he was yelling, changed the channels that he was yelling on so everyone else could go about their business for like a solid 5 minutes, and this man did not notice.
Yeah, he was bad. He
Dude,
like
it was horrible.
So you have FDOs, fire direction officers, and fire support officers. From what I heard, if you were in the fire direction center, he loved you. But if you were a fister, basically, or an FSO or a fister, you would not get put in, if you're a lieutenant going to be an XO, you never were considered for that. They were always all FDOs every time.
No, I just know he was a horrible person.
I really do hate leaders that have underlying.
And here's the thing that sucked, man, because he was so bad, one of my favorite officers I've ever worked for, old Jay Atkinson, had like that much harder of a time taking over this fucking battalion right before fucking NTC. And it was like, that was a hard rotation for 212 too. There was a short round. There was a bunch of other stuff, man.
Got out of the box twice.
Yeah, and he just like freaking walked face first into that. Yeah. And to his credit, he freaking bossed up.
Yeah. But that's
somebody just walked out of the box. Is that what you said?
No, that's not what he said.
You said no, Ken. You said something about out of the box.
No. We shot.
No, like out of the box, he walked into this horrible fucking situation.
Yeah, and I'm saying on that rotation as well, the batteries shot around out of the designated impact area you have to draw using weather and shit, and that's a no. That's a everybody from the top up. If like the fire direction officer of the brigade verified it, and then you verified it, then another person verified it, all the way down to the gun.
Everyone that had their initials on that fire mission,
everybody got fired. They were done.
Should be, but again,
it's not.
But then normally it's once
this man just walked into that.
Yeah, he walked into shit like that. They went to Pinion Canyon twice in 1 year. That was horrible.
No, NTC twice in a year.
Oh, NTC twice. Sorry, because you
Pinion Canyon only. Well, like, so I got there in November 16, and literally every other. I would be back here from the field for like a week, sometimes 2 weeks, and then back out for another month. Because they did 2 NTC rotations and then right out to the door to the GAN for the 2018 deployment.
And see, that's why soldiers fucking.
But it was hard, man. What happened? I'm not gonna lie, like it was a rough train up.
Because that's also kind of like once you get out there, do you do enough on that deployment to justify the amount of work that you put in before it?
Well, I mean, the artillery bros did.
I mean, like, I can understand that, but like, there's also
the 777s that are freaking cop were like launching freaking Hotel 5 rounds like all day, every day.
Dude, can you imagine how fucking strong and jacked you are after all that?
You're just like
there was this guy.
We'll call him armor for that long.
We'll call this guy Gunny B because I don't want to put the man's name out there. But dude, this dude's chest came out to like pass. He looked like a freaking Marvel drawing of Captain America. Like his chest was a shelf. Like this man was just easily one of the most dense human beings I've ever seen in my entire life. Just like chucking 155 rounds.
But those are like 4 square 155 rounds. If they were the 5 square one, fucking it weighs like 120 pounds almost.
Yeah, there were some strong ass fellers down at the gun pit, man.
Yeah, and they're just like, and especially being an FDO, and I'm like, oh, you have to shoot a platoon 6. That means that each one of those guns is gonna shoot 6 rounds in cadence. So like, boom, like that's 18 rounds.
Let's get back to this real quick. What do you think number 2 on the trending Twitter list is?
Rihanna.
I'm gonna stick by my guns and say some dumb Kardashian shit.
Nope, you should have chose differently.
Should have chose what?
You should have chose differently. Yeah, just fate was not on your side.
I mean, dude, I'm 40. I don't have to know what's hot on Twitter anymore.
Oh, okay.
Like,
So you're 40. You're 40.
Yeah.
I'm 27. Ken, you're what? 34.
30. What the fuck you? You're trying to kill me? Are you trying to kill me?
Most likely, John.
Calm the fuck down, Frosty Flake. It's okay. It's a year.
Is that
more than likely, John was probably 20-some years old when this was going on. But so there's a documentary that's coming out about Barney.
Oh, and how he was a bad toucher?
So it's a new Barney docuseries that will expose the dark side of the beloved kid show, the death threats, drug rumors, and what else does it say?
The death
And
threats?
And
there's
sexual-
death threats, drug rumors, and intense hatred.
Yeah.
For
I might get Peacock for a fucking week.
for Barney.
Why won't they just
Like-
let children have something nice? Just
The
stop.
purple,
Just shut
the
up.
aubergine dinosaur.
So
The Al
let's
Pacino.
let's talk about it. Hey, Barney fucking did drugs like coke right out of his tail, right? Demi Lovato, Selena Gomez were both on that show. You could inquire as to how one of them is doing in the last couple of years, right? Again, children in TV doesn't know it really turn out pretty well. So this is something I would be very interested in.
Yeah.
I want to know what it says. The name of it is "I Love You, I Hate You."
I support them making content.
Dude, like-
but just fuck, man. Jesus.
That's a good content though.
What is with the how do I say this?
Oh, it's "I love you, you hate me."
What is with the Caucasian need to ruin things?
Yeah.
Are you
What is
saying white people ruin
Like,
everything?
can't you guys just let people enjoy stuff?
Yeah,
Well, I
just-
mean, but wasn't Barney a very like after it was done? Wasn't it very? I don't want to say like a taboo show to talk about, but it was also like Blue's Clues. Like that guy was also a pedo toucher as well.
Wait,
And-
what? No, he wasn't.
Wasn't that the crime
No,
that he was
died.
fucking committing?
He died,
No,
didn't he?
the guy
He didn't
Steve.
die. He's still alive.
There's the first dude from Blue's Clues,
Let me
right?
see.
And then there's a second guy. The first guy, I'm pretty sure that he was arrested of either child abuse. Or
No,
also
dude, the
drug
first
abuse.
guy just stopped.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure he was fired for something.
Before we go down another classic Steve Hole rabbit hole, why don't we just deal that shit, man? Before we start talking in complete hypotheticals built on imagination, let's
I
just
don't
pull
think
that
so.
up. Because I promise the first guy was not a pedophile.
Well, let's
Yeah,
find
he
out.
just
What
left.
he just
Yeah.
left.
Yeah, he just left.
Okay, well, I guess that was.
He did it for like 4 years or something, and he just didn't want to anymore.
Yeah, 2002 to 2006.
Yeah, and he just came back, like released a YouTube thing telling everyone about how good they're doing or whatever. It
Dude,
made
that
like
YouTube
all the
page or something?
millennials freaking misty.
Yeah, like
God.
Yeah, that's like Kenya and younger. Like all of my people, all the Gen Xers were like, "No, the world's pretty crap."
pretty crappy. Yeah.
Thanks to those two from Blue's Clues. Appreciate it.
Not this Steve.
every time I would hear the name Blue's Clues, I get a little sad because I'm like, oh, I'm blue. This is sad.
What the fuck?
That's what I did as a kid.
Oh my god. You guys, you actually watch that shit, Ken?
Blue's
I
Clues?
couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't take it. That and Dora, I could never take. I wanted to punch TV screens for that girl.
Yeah, Dora, I didn't like it because it was just repetitiveness. I can't do repetitiveness.
Especially
Like,
when I can see the mountain behind you and you're asking me where it is.
where is the
and I-
mountain?
Hey, to be fair, you know how many lieutenants I
fair.
found lost on land nav at Fort Carson?
You know who didn't get lost? This guy.
And West has a collection of bright red blinky lights on top of it. People still get lost. Anywhere in the land nav at Fort Carson, you can see NORAD. It is west
That is
and
very
it is
true.
blinking.
Did you ever hear the girl
Oh, the one that we had to look for?
2020? Yeah. She went out
Oh
on,
man!
she went out
What
on
was
the
her
if and
name?
B. I forget.
So that was my brigade was like leading that search effort, man.
Oh yeah, because then you guys even called in our battalion and second.
Yeah,
Brigade.
dude. We had so here's the thing. Okay,
I was
all right.
on gate guard when that
Let's-
happened. And
let's
were
dive on this
high
one,
alert
okay.
for that.
So we had just come back from Afghanistan, right?
I was doing table
With-
12.
With that aviation battalion. Okay. I have seen those Apaches with the fucking longbow and the FLIR and all that find a specific Afghan
Yeah.
in Afghanistan,
Yeah.
right? If she was actually out there, they would have seen her.
That's
So here's
I was
what
saying.
happened. She said, "Yo, I'm out on this walk. Not about it, fam." Called someone up, hopped in a car. She was at home with her feet up, crushing some Papa Johns, and then she saw herself on the news and was like,
Oh
Fuck.
shit!
Wait, is that a real story or is that hypothetical?
That's my theory, and it does not reflect the opinions of the United States Army or the Mighty Raider Brigade. But that is my theory on what happened.
She got an arc.
Because, dude, seriously, like the Apache longbow system, they could find a specific Afghan in Afghanistan that was trying to hide.
Yeah.
Some lost land nav student trying to be found, like they would have
Was that
seen
like
it
a
as soon
group
as they
of
freaking
people?
like cleared altitude, man.
Yeah.
Was that
As
a
soon
group
as
of
they break,
people?
they're still in the 15,000 feet. They're good. They can see everything.
Exactly.
So what is this Apache longbow? Is that something
It's
that's
like
like
the
A64.
super duper sexy fucking sensor kit thingy they have to
okay.
just like look around and
Small
see
pinvis.
really, really well, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So if she was out there,
They would have saw her.
they would have found her. She was not out there. That's
When
why
I mean,
didn't
they
find her.
scattered a bunch of birds for that.
But the
They
fucked
did.
up thing is, I agree with John's theory, because when I was at Fort Campbell, so 160th, I had thermals on and I saw the person with thermals as well. Like like
Look,
the pinvis system with the FLIR, the TADS, and then there's one more little bead thing they put on top of the Echo model. Like they can see from like 2 miles away. They can see a small dog. They can see a small animal walking in a tree.
like if it is circulating blood, they can fucking see it.
Yeah.
If it
So
was
the-
recently circulating blood, they can fucking see it.
Yeah.
So the
If
the
it's
problem-
sitting at home crushing Papa John's with the fucking garlic
They
dipping
cannot
sauce, not gonna see it.
No.
So both theories that you guys, even if it's just one, they both make sense, especially because you cannot honestly tell me, under any circumstances, that on any range in Fort Carson, if you walked for 2 days,
You can get
that
out.
you A, won't find a road, B, find a fence line,
or
or
a
C,
person.
see a telephone pole, because it would have been in the middle of the next day.
Correct.
During sunlight, you couldn't find the fucking.
You have to
Dora?
actively attempt to avoid and
Mhm.
invade
Being
at
found.
that point.
Yes, which
They
would
brought
mean
my buddy Chuck, who flies fucking the Mike model Blackhawks for 160th. They were down in a Bliss training, and they called them up here, and they were like, we got nothing to do. Yeah, we'll come up there. And they flew up there, and he was like,
Dude, we
Yeah.
had dogs out.
yeah, his
There was
exact
freaking El Paso County Rescue was out. Like, buddy.
I remember
She was
because
at
our
home.
DFAC at Second Brigade was literally jam packed. The whole parking lot at like 7 a.m.
Yeah.
with nothing but emergency vehicles that were not of Fort Carson.
Yeah.
And I remember I was on gate guard at the time, out at gate 5, 6, whatever, out on 145
Yeah.
or 142, whatever it is. And they were like, "Hey, yeah, like you guys be on high alert. You know, some girl comes walking around." I was like, "Who the fuck? What
Right?
happened?" They're like, "Oh, you haven't seen the news?" I was like, "No."
I'm just
Live in the
sorry.
fucking
So,
bears. You think
like,
I look like I fucking watch the
if-
news?
if you run your dirt, right? Like, so distance equals rate times time, right? If she was walking for, let's say she had 8 hours of foot travel in her over the 36-hour period, she was gone, right? Human being underweight at night can move approximately 3 kilometers per hour, which means she moved no farther, assuming she walked one single as the crow flies direction.
She walked no more than 500 meters, man.
No. I'm saying, like, she walked no more than 24 clicks. All right.
Yeah. What I'm
And
saying,
24 clicks from anywhere on Fort Carson will get you to a paved, improved, no bullshit asphalt motherfucking road.
Yes. Plus,
or
they were
fire
saying that she would have walked somewhere in the rough shot of like 24 miles, and they were like, but from one side of the training area she was at to either end or either like full side was less than 6 miles.
Correct.
Yeah, it is 100%.
Is it the
She
narrow part before
She
the
either just
freaking?
kept walking south towards fucking Pueblo and the
She would've
fucking.
Then how did she get over by the ranch? If she was walking south, how did she freaking teleport herself all the way to the west?
Wait, she ended up on the ranch over there?
She
Yeah,
was on the
dude.
ranch headed back towards Cantonment when they found her, is what I remember hearing.
Yeah, because
Was
somebody
she
out
clean?
on.
Was she clean or dirty?
I don't think they released
I
that.
don't know. I wasn't there. I
They
didn't
said-
ask.
They said some guy in a truck picked her up out on 145.
It's one of her fucking
Did he
cronies.
smell like Papa John's garlic sauce?
Was he driving a nice car?
It's a very distinct.
Did he
smell.
also have a uniform on?
All right, I'm gonna box this order up.
Okay,
I
go
look,
ahead, box
I
it
look
out.
forward to our continuation with another special guest at a later time.
Yes.
All right, see you fellas.
All
right.
Please.
I don't know how to close.
The next thing on the list, Ken, Sharknados.
Oh, no fucking why?
Because the storm surges from Hurricane Ian have been so powerful they have pulled sharks into the city streets that are flooded.
Yeah. Probably not in the sky where they hit the ground and explode in a billion shark
Oh
guts.
my
But
God.
I mean, yeah, I could see a shark getting washed up on
Dude,
the
did you see that? There was a trailer for a movie a long time ago. There was like or not a long time ago, maybe 2-3 years. It was like
Sharknado.
no, it's not Sharknado. There's crocodiles and shit. And it was like Florida. It was like part of Florida was like underwater and a bunch of like alligators or crocodiles or some shit. There's like one that escaped out of the zoo because it flooded completely, so it could get over all the fences and shit. And then it got into this like the small town, and this girl was like,
Oh,
I don't know, trying to
or something.
yeah, she's trying to find her dad or escape or wherever. But there's just an alligator or a crocodile, whatever the fuck it was, just like swimming around, taunting at her the entire time. Like she had to fight it, basically.
That sounds so corny.
It sounds so corny, dude. But what would you do if you were in that situation? That's
What would I do? I would find my guns.
okay. Well, if all your guns are in the water where the demon animal is,
Guess I'm going into the attic and waiting until it stops flooding and get my guns and kill it.
oh my god!
This straw is squishy. It's the best thing ever.
All right,
It's
so
like-
this might be maybe the second to last one. I guess we'll do. Did you see the president's new conversation piece that everybody's worried about, thinking he has dementia?
Wait,
Because
what
so
is-
he was giving a speech today and acknowledging like some work that some candidates or like congressmen and women had done. And one of the people was Representative Jackie, what is it, Walorski or something like that. It's Walorski.
Walorski.
Walorski. I can't.
Walorski.
I can't.
There's an L in there, Steve. There's an L. You
I
just
have a
told me.
list. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Walorski. But she died in a car accident back in August, and when he was mentioning her, right? It was kind of like, oh, like we all did some great work, especially Jackie. Where's Jackie? Jackie, Jackie, where you at? And so people, like, obviously at the time didn't say anything.
They were like,
But then-
well,
A reporter goes into, the good old classy, not corny or clowny conference room where the reporters ask all their questions. And one of these media people was like, hey, so what did he mean by this? And
yeah.
so she was like, the news or the media correspondent, she was just kind of like, hey, so President Biden, he likes to make sure that everybody feels like they're accounted for and like they get acknowledged for all their hard work. And the reporter goes, but he said, and I repeat, Jackie, where's Jackie at? She must not be here today. End quote. She's like, well, like I said, the president likes, she was on the top of his mind. And, he
That's the only answer she's giving. She's just
like
skirting around it.
loves to just include everybody that does all the hard work that they do. And it got me thinking that even as much as I can't say too much about our commander-in-chief, being in, do these people really expect us to believe that there's not some form of, like, the dude just does not seem like he's all there.
He's not all there.
And it's not,
Like,
it's not I hate the guy or like he's a piece of shit or anything like that. Like, you literally can tell that you guys are making up, like, this sounds like a third grader making up some
imaginary
fucking
friends. It's like foster
not
home
even
for imaginary children, and he's just going.
almost, but it's like, like if you ever if you ever hit your sibling or you ever did something to them and they start crying,
You're
right?
like,
Your parents come in the room and you're like, shh. And then when the parents come in, you're like, oh no, like we were doing this, that, or another thing. And they're like, why the fuck are you lying? Like, you can't honestly think that was a good answer.
You honestly think that was a coherent sentence with a subject, a predicate, an indirect object, and a direct object? I don't think that happened.
And so
I don't think that happened, Barney. No,
I
Barney.
personally cannot imagine that they really either think that people are that dumb, or it's just like we are so engulfed in the fact that we know that this is going to look bad that we will do anything and everything. We will stop at no point to not cover it up, but make it look lesser than it is. Like if I had to explain to the entire United States population that you, in fact, are not high right now, because the president would never be high, right? And be like, but his eyes were glossed over; they're completely like they're red. He was laughing at everything.
He laughed at everything.
He was like a fucking child. He farted and just died laughing on stage. And then he has to tell a knock-knock joke to the crowd. Like, but the president's not high, guys. Medical marijuana is not a part of his daily routine. He does not smoke at all. We have never stopped at. Have you ever seen the president's motorcade stop at a weed shop? No, I haven't. How could the president possibly be high if he's never stopped?
The absence of something doesn't determine its non-existence.
Thank you.
It's not like for something to exist, you don't necessarily have to see it. You don't have
the absence of your answer to that reporter's question does not mean that there's not, in fact, an actual issue,
an occurrence or issue in this whole dilemma we're facing.
Because I don't actually think that even the people who voted for him and who thought, like, hey, he didn't go out on that many campaign trails while he was campaigning. He didn't. So you didn't get to see a lot of it.
Mm-mm.
And I think even the people that voted for him and put a whole bunch of trust into him are now kind of looking like, well,
fucked up here, huh, fellas?
I don't know that I fucked up. But this was not a part of the brochure you handed.
This wasn't. This model right here, it's a lemon. We gotta change them out. We have a Hillary here? I need a Hillary.
I think it's people altogether are just kind of looking at this like, are we becoming a laughing stock? Not because we just like want to be assholes and be like, oh, the president sucked or some shit, but because the rest of the world, like, he clearly fucking has done shit on overseas tours. Right, whether apparently he shit in front of the Pope, shit his pants.
Jesus Christ.
That's alleged, right? Nobody actually knows, in fact.
If someone smelled it, he dealt it. It's fine.
According to Prince Charles and his wife, he farted in front of Camilla Bowles and then fucking joked about it. That's a quote from Prince Charles that the president broke wind in front of his wife and then made a joke about it.
No, if they acknowledged it, it was loud and it had some smell to it. So it was not.
So apparently
wind, it's shitting your pants.
So apparently Camilla Bowles, went around parts of London telling the story, to which it at least made it to not only tabloids and regular papers, but to the news stations.
That's hilarious.
So she thought it was either funny or grotesque, one of the two.
She had negative feelings about it, in a way.
Well, I mean, maybe it was a stinky fart, but
I mean, especially if you got some in your mouth.
But like, nonetheless, like, how many times do we kind of hear the president say one thing, the press secretary says something completely different, and then the rest of the administration says something also different?
He is senile. He doesn't understand what's going on a daily basis, and they prop him up with enough Adderall and probably Vicodin to get him going in the morning. Did you see the 60-minute thing where he said, like, U.S. soldiers would fight in Taiwan? They immediately say, hey, no, they wouldn't. And then they're like, just to dial back into this, we asked him a second time. So, Mr. President, are you sure that we would send United States men and women to defend? Yeah.
Yes.
And they were like,
a day later, press secretary is like, no, that's not what he meant. How could you guys misrepresent that?
Misrepresent that? Bitch, he said it on TV.
It was in 60 Minutes, like one of the most reputable news station, like, TV shows like that ever has come out. And we're just going to gloss over that.
It's like the staple for, like, investigative journalism reporting.
Exactly. So I find it interesting just because it seems to pop up maybe like once a month. There's a headline that actually makes sense. That is,
who hasn't been allowed to talk? Kamala.
Well, because every time she does, it seems very repetitive. It seems like an 8th grader who has a number count or word count that he has to hit, and therefore he writes his paper to appease the word count and not to appease the actual paper.
Oh my God. Okay.
It would be like if I sat here and said,
I need to go.
You and I are going to do this podcast for as long as it takes, so that all of the sponsors get as much as they want out of this podcast that we will have to do for as long as it takes to get the podcast done and get paid from all of the endorsements that we have.
That sounds like the Army.
That's our podcast. That's her answers. So
That's terrible.
you're going to go eat? What are you guys eating?
I bought fried chicken. It's downstairs. I really want it. I'm fiending, man.
What kind of fried chicken did you get?
It's from Bird Call. It's going to be great. It's Nashville hot.
Fuck. That sounds dope as fuck. I have Hamburger Helper.
Oh, okay.
I'm living that meager white boy life.
I didn't mean to laugh at you, but aha, motherfucker.
Yeah, it's the Hamburger Helper, bitch. We've all been there.
You pumped a baby into your wife. Now you're living like a mediocre man. God damn it, Steve. This is not you, boy. That's what your dad would say.
Oh, dude. We have to do an episode with Jess to go over maternity leave. If you didn't see her post the other day, I'll send it to you.
I didn't see it.
Oh, damn. I'll send you her story about it. But we should do an episode with her and get her on here.
Yeah, let her talk about it so all of America, all 3,000 people that download this can go, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should fix that.
But all right, man, I'll let you go. You go have your fried chicken. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Please.
Boom.